Hello, and welcome. I am Mari of So Disorganised, and welcome back to my very messy crafty space. So I am on today to talk about the sewing bee because it's back. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I really wanted to do this yesterday, so the day after the sewing bee, but I put my back out. I went to pick Freya up and I just couldn't move. I just felt a spasm in the top of my back, and then I just could not move. And so I had to get William ready and dropped off at school. But then I just after that I spent the entire day just lying on the sofa, and it was awful. And yeah, I mean, I'm feeling a bit better today. It's not completely there. I've got a heat pad on at the moment, which is helping, and I've had some what's it called, deep heat rub. But if I wince at any point in this, it's just because I've moved in a position where my back can't handle it. I'm kind of at that point now where, like, yesterday I couldn't move my upper arms, I couldn't really move my neck, but I'm past that now. I can't move my neck too far, but I've pretty much got full range back in my arms. But because of that, sometimes I forget that I just can't freely move. So yeah, there might be a bit of wincing, but I'm here and I'm ready to record, and I will probably, to be fair, I'll probably do a bit of batch recording today, just get it out of the way so it's all done. So I'm going to be looking at this. I've got my notes on here. But yeah, so I mean, I don't really think it needs saying because, I mean, obviously you can tell what this video is about, but there are going to be spoilers in here. So, I mean, just if you haven't watched it yet, then don't watch this video. Or if you haven't watched it but you don't care, you just want to know, or like, if I know, like, the BBC is just ridiculous when it comes to their like confidentiality rules. You know, it's a bit much. So I know, like, if you're outside of the UK, this is kind of the best that you get. So yeah, I'm going to talk through the patterns, but unfortunately I won't be able to really put up any images. Like, I'll see if I can find any online that I can share, but I won't be able to take any off the video because, like I said, otherwise I might get in trouble, and I don't have the money to get sued. So, you know, but it was a really good episode. I absolutely loved it. Oh, the final, like, made to measure was so good. Yeah, I love the patterns in it, but I will talk you through like from the pattern challenge, you know, all the way down to what I think the sewers were wearing. We will do a comprehensive cover of everything that was happening in the bee. So to start with, it was a twist top, and I thought it was really nice. It was a really nice style. I thought they did really well at making that in 3 hours. It's one of those that it looks quite simple, but actually it was quite deceptively difficult. I mean, like, quite a few of them putting the sleeves the wrong way. So, and like, I know I've done that before. It's one of those really silly but easy to make mistakes. So yeah, I felt so bad for them. My heart really did go out for them when that happened, because it's like, when that happens to me in my sewing room, all that happens is I swear and go and eat cake. But when you're on TV, it's a, you know, it's not so easy. So I've got 3 patterns, 2 of them that are similar, and one of them that I think is pretty spot on, if not like pretty much just cut and paste of what the top was. So the first one I thought was quite similar, or like a really nice, not the same, but a really nice kind of alternative version of that, and that is the Gracie Steele twist top. And I have seen so many good versions on Instagram. So it's called the Tata Twist Tank. That came out wrong. And it's not the same as the one in the bee, in the fact that it's got the twist at the top, and then it's got like a panel at the bottom. But I thought, as a kind of twist top version, it's really nice. It's even got a little cutout detail, so it's actually kind of perfect for kind of the theme of the final outfits. But I thought it's a really flattering style. It looks good on so many different bodies, and yeah, just a really nice alternate version to a twist top. So it comes in sizes A to Q, which is quite a good size range. And that's a 31-inch bust to a 57-inch bust. So it's quite a decent size range. And yeah, just like I said, just a really nice different version. Another one that I thought was a really nice alternative version was the Itch to Stitch Nottingham top. So this is kind of this is a t-shirt with a twist, literally. So it's basically your standard t-shirt style, and at the hem it's twisted. Again, not the same as the one in the B, but just a really nice alternative option and I feel like you could probably crop it. There's not an option for sleeveless, but there are loads of good tutorials on how to turn a sleeve top into a sleeveless top by adjusting the arm size. So I feel like if you could crop it a bit and take off the sleeves, you probably could. I mean, it would take a bit of hacking, and I would say if you're a beginner, I mean, go for it if you want to. You know, I'm never going to deter people from, you know, really pushing themselves out there, because that's how I kind of learned to sew, was doing things that I couldn't do and just thinking, to hell with it, I'm going to keep trying. But yeah, it's got an option for a flutter sleeve, 3/4 length, and a full length sleeve. So yeah, it's just really pretty, really comfortable to wear in the summer, and just a really, really nice option. Okay, so the final one, and this one I thought was pretty damn bang on for the one on the B. So the most similar one is the Lola Twist knot top. So the Lola Twist knot crop top. Try saying that fast. And it's from Dressmaking and More, and it's an Etsy pattern. I've not sewn it, and I've not sewn anything by that pattern company. It's kind of mixed reviews. Some people said it sewed up really well, some people said it needed a bit of adjustment. So I've not made it, I can't testify to the quality of it, but like I said, from reading the reviews, some people said it's good, some people haven't. But there is an accompanying video to it, and yeah, like I said, it is pretty spot on for the one made on the B. So so kids are getting ready to go out, so they're a bit excited. So yeah, if you can hear someone in the background, that's what it is. But yeah, it comes down in like a low V, and then it's tied together with the twist. It's sleeveless and it's cropped, so it comes, I can't, my movement is limited, so I can't really stretch up to show you, but it kind of comes to, like, is this the navel? Like the navel area, so just under your boob. But I mean, I don't know. Have a look at the line drawing. It might be, I mean, it might be fairly easy to lengthen. I'm not sure. I'd have to kind of look at the pattern pieces to know for sure. But I feel like it's like, you know, just a front and a back. It should be fairly easy to lengthen. Don't take my word on it. But yeah, so if you did want a bit more coverage, a bit more modesty, I mean, I think that's definitely an option for this. So yeah, those are my picks for the pattern challenge. And yeah, it was just a really fun one, and they all did so well. I'm always blown away by how they can sew so quickly and under so much pressure, because I churn out a lot of clothes. I'd be the first to admit that. I hold my hand up to that. But I am also quite a slow sewer, in the sense that I will just stay up late into the night and sew. I'm not a massive speed sewer. So yeah, fair play to them. They did so well. Okay, so after the pattern challenge, it was a transformation challenge, and I can't really show you the patterns for that because they didn't use any. The transformation was to turn an office shirt and skirt into something different, and I wish I could put a picture up and show you, because they made some great versions and I absolutely loved them. Yeah, just really, really fun. They made shirts, they made dresses, they made just an absolute plethora of great things, but obviously they didn't use patterns, they just hacked and chopped. So yeah, I can't really give you too much detail on that. But after the transformation was the made to measure, which is my favorite one. I love this. I think I love it the most because it's really fun trying to like figure out what patterns they used. And yeah, so I have scoured the internet. I've zoomed in on, I've like screenshotted and zoomed in on certain parts to, you know, try and read the pattern pieces, and I think I have a pretty good list of what they made. Where possible, I do try and substitute for indie patterns, but a lot of this wasn't massively possible, because of the cutout style. They were quite unique, and I, you know, my bad back means I just can't do as deep a dive as I would, because sitting there hunched over looking at my tablet is just too painful. But I've added like 1 or 2 indie patterns where I can, but a lot of them are the big 4, and that's fine. I mean, I don't mind sewing with the big 4. The real only reason I don't tend to sew with the big 4 is because I prefer PDFs, because I hate tracing, and I always feel so wrong cutting out individual sizes on a paper pattern. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people like sewing with big 4, so there are a few in here. Okay, so first off, Vicky, sorry, that's the name of the pattern company. So the first one that I noticed was, and this was actually one that Free Sewist made, so it was a really, really popular one, was the Vicky Sews Una dress. And oh god, I love these so much. So I think it was Lauren. I'll get to know the names as we go further on. But at the moment, you know. But anyway, I think it was Lauren. Anyway, whoever it was made a really, really nice blue version of this dress, and oh, I loved it. Like a lot of people tend to stay away from solid colours, like in the B, because it just shows up everything. It's kind of like quite a bold choice to use a solid colour, because you really have to then let like the designs and the features speak for it. But oh, it was gorgeous. I absolutely loved it. And as soon as the B went off, I went and bought and snapped up that pattern like that. So I do have plans to make it this summer, and I can't wait to go through my stash and pick out some fabric for it. But anyway, enough about that. Okay, so the did I even tell you what the theme was? Okay, so so the theme for this one was like dresses with a cutout. So it could be any cutout, but you know, it kind of had to be somewhat statement. Sorry, two nose, but it had to be like somewhat statement, like just a really obvious cutout. It could be like anywhere in the dress, front, back, side, but yeah, it just had to be a present feature in the dress. And so this dress, it features a really low V, puff sleeves. There's 2 big cutouts. Sorry, I can't show you the lower half of my body because my movement is like, if I stretch up, it really hurts my back. But so if I'm pointing down here, I'm usually pointing around my hip area. So yeah, it features 2 cutouts around like the side, around the hip area. It's like, and then it goes to an open back. It's all held into the body with elastic, and there's a really nice tie at the front. It's like, see, I'm still coming around to this term, but it's like a mid-axi. Yeah, okay, I'm still, you know, I'm quite old, like mentally, and to me it just seems like a really weird term. But like mid-axi, so it like kind of comes below the knee, but it's not quite full length. So yeah, just a halfway house between the 2. But I love it. I think it looked flattering on all the I mean, they're models, everything's gonna look flattering on them, but it did look really flattering on them. Like all the versions I've seen on Instagram are just so good. So yeah, I absolutely loved seeing that, and I do have definite plans to make it this summer. Okay, so the pattern that Fauve used, I believe, was the McCall's 8175, and it had the side cutouts. It was high necked. So I'm just looking at the line drawings as I'm reading this. High necked. I think the only adjustment she made was to add a puff sleeve, which from looking at what she's wearing, I have a feeling is going to be very much her theme, you know, going forward for the episode. I have a feeling she's like a ditzy floral puff sleeve person, which I'm here for. I love the sewing bee because I always get so much inspiration for it. But yeah, it has like the little like keyhole. Is it like little keyhole opening at the back? Yeah, like a little opening at the back. And yeah, it just looked really nice. I love the fabric she made it in. She lined the sleeves to give them extra puff, which I thought was so smart, and fair play to, you know, add that extra step when, you know, you only got, I think they have 3 hours to do it. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was gorgeous, and I actually own this pattern, so, you know, inspiration is kicking in. And I have a feeling this year is going to be like the last, and my sewing list is going to be unattainable. Thanks, Sewing Bee. So moving on, because I'm going to try and rush through this because my back's starting to get a bit niggly. Okay, so moving on to Jilly's dress, and I did notice it was a big fall, and I believe it was the McCall's 8594, but she added little cutouts to it. I thought the dress was lovely. The judges kind of criticised her on the cutouts being too small, and well, that was a bit brutal. I do kind of agree on the fact that, yeah, when the arms were covered, you couldn't see a lot, and I think because she cut them out herself, she really could have made them a bit bigger. But I mean, I think she's quite a modest person, so if cutouts aren't your vibe, I do get, like, from a personal stance, you'd want to go less is more. But yeah, but I did think it was a really pretty dress, and it was really nice in the fabric. Yeah, she made the halter neck style with the flare skirt, and I thought the fabric was really pretty for that. It very much gave me like picnic, like tea dress style vibes, and I just thought, yeah, it'd be a really pretty, quite a nice one to wear in summer for like a wedding or just an event. But yeah, I thought it was really, really nice and really, really pretty, and I did feel really sorry for her when they said that the cutouts weren't big enough, because I actually thought it was a really, really pretty dress. So yeah, the Simplicity pattern 8594, there are 4 options, 2 skirt options and 2 neck options. You can have the halter neck or sleeves and a flare dress or a pencil skirt, so, you know, a few options in that. And yeah, like the actual main pattern is very much similar fabric, just slightly darker blue, but very like blue forwards on white background. So that is another reason why, like, I kind of was drawn to that dress, because it felt like she took a lot of inspiration from the actual like the pattern envelope. Yeah, and like the fabrication was very similar, so that is kind of, well, I spent ages looking for a cutout dress, and eventually I saw this, and I thought, yeah, I had a feeling she took a lot of inspiration from the actual paper pattern in making hers, and that. So I don't know if it's the right one, but I'm assuming no, that's the one it was. Okay, so moving on to Matthew's dress, and oh god, this one gave me a headache. I searched, I scoured, I had, like, it looked like very Vogue, very Butterick, so I went through every single Vogue pattern, every single Butterick, like, oh, maybe it's an out of print one, maybe it's an old one. I did a lot of hunting, and then in the end I rewatched the footage again just to see if I could get a glimpse of the pattern, because I just could not find it anywhere. You know, I was like googling cutout dress with fishtail hem, like, I just could not find it. And then I got a sneaky tiny little glimpse of when the pattern piece, when he held it up to his model, so I zoomed in, and it was from a pattern company that I hadn't heard before, Effortless Patterns, and it's the Jara crop top, and that makes a lot of sense as to why I couldn't find the pattern, because this is just a crop top with the cutout, but it's made in Jersey, and his was in a polka dot, like a lined polka dot woven. So, like, I wouldn't, if it wasn't for that tiny glimpse, I would have never ever found this dress, because it just doesn't exist. He obviously either took a skirt from a different pattern or he drafted it himself. But I absolutely love the style. It had like a huge what word am I thinking? Like swooping fishtail back. It was high in the front, really like low in the back. He fully lined it. I think somebody on there said it gave them, I think he might have even said it gave him IKEA vibes, and I can see that, but I think the colours do work really well together. And then he added a like a belt and harness, which I thought really, I think without it, it was a really nice dress, but that really did elevate it. And he made the really smart decision to only do the strap on one side, matching the dress, so you had like asymmetric on one side. Because yeah, I think if he'd chosen to do it on both sides, it kind of would have thrown off the balance of the dress. So the judges were getting quite critical in this, because I thought it was really nice, and there was no nipple on show, but Esme did point out that if she went discoing, you know, you would get a bit of a nip slip. And I mean, she didn't jump up and down, so I don't know. But yeah, I thought, I mean, like, I don't really think it's a dress you really would wear to the disco. It looks quite heavy. So I thought it was really nice. I thought it was so well done in the time that he was given. Like, to make that entire dress and line it, I mean, bravo. I thought they were so critical, because that was amazing. I was really, really impressed. So yeah, so unfortunately this pattern doesn't exist. But if you can find a skirt similar and attach it to the top, I mean, yeah, it's a lot more work than I would personally want to do, but yeah, if you do want to do it, he used a Jara crop top from Effortless Patterns, and then either added a skirt or drafted his own. But if he drafted that himself, then I am really, really excited to see what else he brings, because that was, yeah, call me impressed. I was very impressed. Okay, so moving on to Tony, one of the Tonys, because there are two Tonys, and he was the only one that used jersey fabric, and I absolutely loved it. So when I saw him unfolding it, I noticed that it was a Big Four pattern, but when he made it, I instantly recognised it as a Vicky Sews pattern, so I'm going to share both, so you've got the option. Okay, so the pattern he used, I believe, was the McCall's 8253. And yeah, it's a jersey dress. It's long sleeved. It's got kind of a V-neck, and then it's got like ruching made by ties. And then it's got a cutout in the bottom with more ruching at the bottom, which I'm assuming is made from elastic. But the ties are made to like be able to like ruche the top and adjust it as much as you want. It's a absolutely beautiful dress. It looks like it'd be so flattering on loads of different bodies, and I was a big fan of the fabric that he used. It was a really busy print, but I thought it worked so well. It fit his model beautifully. It got pattern of the week, and I definitely think it was well earned, because although jersey fabric can be a little bit easier with fitting, and especially with a cutout because it will cling to the body, you won't get as much gaping, I don't think that needs to take away from any of the work he did, because he put a shift in and the outcome was just beautiful. So yeah, that is the McCall's pattern, but Vicky Sews has a very, very similar pattern. The Leora dress. The only slight difference is it's got the V-neck, it's got the ruching there. The tie actually turns into a halter neck style around your neck, and then you ruche it up. And the only difference is it doesn't have the ruching on the skirt, and the cutout is slightly more discreet. So if you're a bit self-conscious about your tummy, which is fine, I go through phases of being self-conscious about mine too. It's just a little bit more coverage, there's a little bit more modesty there. But it's still very much the same flattering shape. It's still designed for jersey, and the skirt's more A-line than flared like the McCall's pattern. But then I feel like you could kind of combine the two to get the perfect, like if you want the flare skirt but more coverage, you can combine the two to make that. Or if you want like less coverage but a straighter skirt, then vice versa. So those are the two options, one a bit more modest than the other, but both equally really flattering and really pretty, and yeah, it would just make really, really nice occasion wear. Okay, so moving on to Tony 2, I'll cover both the Tonys so I don't confuse myself, and I actually saw this pattern, so I know it's the right one. He made the Simplicity Vintage 8051. It's very pin-up girl, very rockabilly style, 70s rock and Grace Lightning kind of style. And fair play to the guy, he managed to get like it was like tulle or crinoline, I can't remember, I think it might have been tulle. He managed to get like a tulle lining to the skirt to give it a shape, but I thought it looked really, really good. I thought the fabric he chose worked really well. So it was roses and skulls, which I think works really well with that like kind of vintage rock vibe. And we also found out that Esme collects skulls. Do you know what? I love Esme because she's constantly surprising us. She's just so funny. I absolutely love it. Like when she's like, "Oh, I have this skull and this skull," I'm like, I think we'd be friends. I think we'd get on quite well. You're a cool person, Esme. Not that I collect skulls, but you know, I mean, fair play to her. She's got her fingers in a lot of pies. But anyway, moving on. So it's a very fit and flare style dress, fitted on the bodice and flares out at the on like the dress part, and then yeah, it looks like it's lined with tulle to just make it stand out, give it that pin-up style, kind of like, you know, like when you twirl and it just goes woo kind of style. Like that. It's got a really nice, sweet little triangular cutout at the back, and yeah, I mean, they said that his one didn't fit too well. And I did see that, but I just thought that looked like quite a hard dress to fit and make. So, I mean, they all did so well. I was so blown away. I'm always blown away every single season. I'm always blown away by how well they do. But I absolutely loved it. I thought it looked really good in the model. Yeah, I thought it was just a really, really sweet style. Okay, so moving on to Asthma's dress, and I really struggled to find this. It was one of those dresses I'm like, I'm sure I've seen this before, and I couldn't think when I saw it, and I scoured the big four, and in the end, Etsy, as it tends to do, came to the rescue. So I'm gonna put a disclaimer for all the Etsy patterns. I haven't sewn this. I know Etsy patterns can be really, really hit and miss, but I do read the reviews. If something's got really bad reviews, I won't recommend it. But this one had good reviews. It seemed to be sewn up by a few people, and it was just as close as I could get. So it's not the same, and in fact, it's actually a little bit different. But I thought it's a good starting point. And the only difference is that hers was woven, this is knit. It doesn't have the puff sleeve, but it does have that really dramatic open back. It has the neck, the high neck. So I feel like you could really use this as kind of a really like a base pattern if you wanted to try and recreate it. It's got like the maxi length, but I really did try and hunt for this. Like I said, I know I've seen that pattern somewhere, and for the life of me, I just cannot find it now. But if it does by some miracle come to me, I will put the details down below. And if you can think of it, please let me know, because this one drove me mad. I thought it'd be so much easier to find than it was. So she made hers in a gorgeous polka dot red. It looks like a viscose. So it was definitely a woven fabric, but I thought it skimmed her model's body really nicely. It was just a lovely flowy dress, perfect for like weddings or more formal wear, or just, you know, just if you want to feel fancy as beep. I won't swear. I don't know who's watching this. Some people don't like swear words. Yeah, it had like this gorgeous tie at the back, and just a really nice open back. It's got puff sleeves, and then they go into like a bishop sleeve at the bottom, and yeah, just a really, really, really flattering dress. This was definitely one of my favorites. I just thought the way it just flowed when the model moved, I thought it was like really, really beautiful. Oh, I just realized I didn't actually say the designer, so I just said Etsy. Okay, so it's the open back midi dress from Kiana Bonolo Designs. I don't know if I've said that right. I'll put it down below, so you know you can click the link in case I'm butchering how it's said and you won't be able to find it. Okay, so moving on to Vicky's dress, and oh, I loved this. I think this was one of my favorites. I think I recognise the fabric as a Fabric Godmother one, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this was definitely one of my favorites. And I'm 99.9% certain this was a Closet Core Paula dress. And you know what, I saw this pattern and I've been umming and ahhing about it because I've seen some nice versions, but I thought, oh, it's not really me. After seeing this version, I really, really want to make one now. I've seen it in more structured fabric, but I thought it looked, this was a viscose or a cotton lawn, but it was a lovely drapey, flowy fabric, and it looked beautiful. It was so pretty. I loved the ruffle at the bottom. So yeah, I will talk you through a bit about the pattern. Okay, so the Pauline dress has two options. You can either have a above knee version, or you can add a ruffle tier to the bottom of that and make it a maxi version. It's got these really beautiful, so there's a sorry, there's a line at the waist, a seam at the waist, and it has really nice, I want to say it's pleats, not darts, like pleats coming out of there. It has puff sleeves, and it has a really cute little semicircle opening at the cut out of the back with a nice simple little roulette, with a nice simple like thin strap tie. And yeah, there is an invisible zip insertion at the back, which, you know, puts me off slightly because anytime I can avoid a zip. But it is such, just, yeah, Vicky's version was stunning. The fabric worked beautifully. It was like it was made for that pattern, and I was here for it. I was so here for it. And I think she got, like, yeah, all the feedback was really good. So yeah, really, really happy with it. Like, I say that like I made it. No, I mean, just like, I just really, really loved it. Okay, so we're working our way through. Okay, so moving on to Maria's. I love watching them, but I have a feeling I love like going through the patterns, but it's gonna be so much easier when they whittle them down, and I don't have so many to go through because, you know, there's a lot of sewers in the beginning. Okay, so moving on to Maria's, and she made a really pretty dress in Broderie Anglaise, and fair play to her, she lined the entire thing, and I love that little like subtle throw-in of it's a cut-out dress covered in cutouts. I thought that was just really, like, I mean, I'm guessing that was intentional, and I hope it was, because I thought it was just a really like nice little twist. But I'm pretty certain, I didn't see the pattern, but I'm pretty certain it was the McCall's M7740, and I say that because it had the very similar like kind of arch cut out at the back, and then the fastenings to close it at the back, and then the swoop, like the swoop back neckline, and then just like a really simple kind of shift style front. It was really, really pretty. I thought it was just like perfect. It could work really well for just like casual wear, or also going out, like a really, really versatile style. And yeah, I just thought her version was beautiful. Okay, we're getting through this. Okay, I think we're actually on to the last one for the made to measure. Okay, so this was Lizzie's dress, and I really, really struggled with this. I loved the fabric she used. She used a Lady McElroy viscose or cotton lawn, I'm not sure, like viscose lawn maybe. It was really beautiful. It flowed really nicely. I thought the fabric worked really well for the pattern. And yeah, I thought it would just be a really, really like statement dress to wear if you're going out for a meal or something like that in the summer. Show a bit of shoulder. Yeah, like a really nice cut out at the back, a little peekaboo cut out at the front. So I scoured everywhere looking for this pattern, and I could not find it. I really, really tried. I don't know if she modified a different pattern, but, you know, I searched every Google keyword I could think. Cut out halter neck dress, halter neck maxi dress, like every single keyword. I searched Etsy, and in the end I did something that I don't really like doing, but I feel like I had no choice. So I used the pattern that the Fold line used, because I do love watching it. So I know they put so much work into finding the patterns, and I hate taking what they've done and adding it to my video, because for me it feels really, really cheeky. But I will make up for that by saying go watch their videos. They're really, really good. Like I every time they put out a new video, I'm always straight on it watching it. So yeah, I did take the pattern they chose, and it feels so cheeky to do that, but I was at such a loss. I just could not find one. So I'm really sorry, Fold Line. I know you guys always put so much work into finding the patterns, and I hate to, you know, like take your thunder, but I said, still go watch their videos because they're really, really good at pattern picks. And I swear all the others had intense research, and this one did have intense research to find it. I just was at my wit's end, and this was the last one I was hunting for, and I was exhausted by this point. So, and I do think that they might have been onto something with the pattern they chose. So the pattern is actually a jumpsuit, and there are a few differences. Like, I just wish the BBC would let us know what patterns they use, because it's so frustrating. And I don't, although I think the fold line did really, really good with this one, and I'm going to include it because it's the closest I could find, I don't know if it's the same pattern because the back's different, and this is a jumpsuit and a romper, and she made a dress. But it's got like the halter neck, it's got the little peekaboo cut out at the front, but the only difference is it's an open back, whereas Lizzie's had like a kind of like panel going across the back, and then a little circle cut out where the dress hem then, you know, kind of closed that up. And it was attached by buttons. So I don't think this was a pattern choose, or if she did, she tweaked it a fair amount. But I feel like this is a really, really good jumping off point. So it's got the halter neck, which is tied at the back, traditional halter neck style, in a bow. It's got a low V back, and then it falls into culotte style trousers, where you can make it as a romper with shorts. And yeah, I feel like you could turn this into a skirt really, really easily. You just swap it out for your favourite skirt pattern. But I think if you wanted to actually do the same as her and cover up the back, it would take a bit more work, because you'd have to curve that bottom back and add an extra pattern piece in, just to add that back panel. But it's still, I mean, if you're like a bit of a challenge, yeah, a really, really good option. I was watching the video, like trying to see if they showed what pattern she used, but sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But yeah, anyway, so that is all the patterns that we used, or the patterns that I thought were a close enough match for the made to measure. And I thought I would also do a little bit of what I thought the actual sewers were wearing. And I don't have all of them. I think I have most of them. Some of them are a bit tricky, but I'm pretty sure I got some of them spot on. So Vicky looked like she was wearing the Rita dress from Named Clothing, and I've made this dress twice, so there were quite a few features I picked up on from my versions that I thought, yeah, this is definitely it. Like the split at the hem, the way it like kind of bagged at the front with the belt. I'm gonna whiz through these videos going on. Okay, so both Tonys looked like they were wearing the Wardrobe by Me tropical shirt. They both had very similar style shirts on. Tony with the like blue stripes looked a bit more like, it looked like it buttoned up a bit more to the top, so it could be the Wardrobe by Me, they have more classic men's shirt, but I think because of the short sleeves, it was very much the Wardrobe by Me. It looked very much like the Wardrobe by Me pattern, and I know men's patterns are unfortunately quite limited, so it was it's a bit easier to kind of guess what they could have been wearing. Mia looked like she was wearing the Lydia Naomi bubble frock, but she looked like she had shortened it to like a peplum style, because the bubble frock's kind of knee length, and yeah, it had the typical, what are they called? Oh, Esme hates them. What are they called? The hillocks. That's not the word. I cannot think of the word. It has completely blanked my mind, but you know, like the kind of hills, the yeah, I don't know. It's not coming to me. I was hoping, you know, if I just chatted nonsense, it would come to me, but it's not. But it looks like she has a shortened version of that. And yeah, that'd be easy enough to shorten. I've seen loads of really cute versions on Instagram of that. I'm pretty sure that Fauve was wearing the Anna Allen Anthea blouse, and this has been an absolute cult classic in the sewing community. I mean, you search the hashtag, you'll be there for days looking for all the versions. But it had the very typical, like, ginormous puff sleeves, the button down, and just like the kind of stand, like kind of stand collar, but no actual fold over collar. So I'm pretty certain that was what she was wearing. Catherine, I'm pretty sure, was wearing the Made My Wardrobe Greta dungarees, and I had to watch it back because I in the front I was trying to figure out from the front what it was, and I was like, if I see the back I might have like a better idea of what pattern it is, because a lot of dungarees look similar in the front, but then they usually have a twist in the back. And yeah, it had the tie at the back, so I'm pretty certain it was the Made My Wardrobe Greta dungarees. And these have been on my list for ages, so I need to actually get on and make a pair myself. They look really, really comfy. Lizzie, I'm pretty sure, was wearing the Veronica robe from Closet Call. It had like the notches here that's very similar. So it was either that, or if not that, so very, very similar option. The drop sleeves, the notched collar. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the sorry, I don't think it's a Veronica, I think it's a Veronique robe from Closet Call, sorry. Lauren, I'm pretty sure she was wearing the Olia shirt. I think in certain angles it looked like it had that really telltale seam going across the front, which I've only ever seen on the Olia shirt, and it had that like really, really big oversized fit with the kind of like grown on sleeve. So I'm pretty sure that was the overshirt that she was wearing. Asthma, I really struggled with this one. I really struggled to find it, but it looks very similar to the Solar pattern Springe dress. I thought out of all of them, that's the closest I could find, because it had the bust gathering and then the kind of I don't know, what do you call it, like a triangular panel underneath. Though I think on the Solar patterns the panel is a bit bigger, but yeah, that was kind of as close as I could find to that dress. Gilly, again, I struggled with this one, but I think she's possibly wearing the Style Arc Renee dress, or if not, one very similar. I actually now, yeah, no, I'm not, but the only reason I thought that is because her dress, like, it had the panels on the side. You could see like yeah, the side panels on it, which the Renee dress has, but then it also has a seam underneath there, so and the Renee dress doesn't. So I don't actually think it was the same pattern, but I really struggled to find one with the panels and the skirt seam. So I feel like this is a really similar match, but I don't think it's 100% the right one. So if you do know, or you have a feeling what you think you know what she's wearing, please let me know, because I am actually quite intrigued by that one. And finally, I think Maria was wearing it was a really simple, like long sleeve t-shirt, like high neckband. So there are loads and loads of patterns that it could be. I said the Dior Giver dress. Giver dress. I could be butchering that completely. But I mean, it's just a really basic fitted jersey top, so there are an absolute ton of patterns it could be, but yeah, that's just the one that sprung to mind. But yeah, and like I said, I mean, when it comes to staple tees like that, the limits are pretty much endless. There are so many patterns out there, a lot of really good free ones as well. I should probably found a free one, but yeah, I didn't this time. Okay. And yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much the patterns. There were also some fabrics that I recognised. So there looks like some from the that's one, Fabric Godmother collection. I saw quite a few of them in there. I saw some Pigeon Wishes fabric in there, especially I think for one of the twist tops. It had that kind of bubble floral top, that floral like bubble type fabric with the checks on it, which I've been eyeing up for a while, but I haven't bought, and now I'm really tempted to. But no, I'm not buying any more fabric. So yeah, and there were a few like Lady McElroy fabrics on there. So yeah, I mean, I hope this was helpful. Sorry this has gone on for a while, but as the contestants start dropping off, these will get shorter, but there was a lot to cover. I hope this was helpful. If you have better ideas of what the patterns were, I mean, if I got it completely wrong, please let me know, because as much as you, like, I do the research, but I'm always intrigued to see if somebody's got a better answer than me, because, you know, I like to know. I like to know if I've got it wrong, and, you know, I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, I'm going to go lie down now, because my back is starting to hurt, and I'm quite exhausted. It's amazing how having a bad back can actually be quite, like, physically draining, even though like I've not really done anything, but my body's just been in constant pain, which is, you know, exhausting. So I'm going to go lie down. I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully I'll be back next week and I'll be a bit more mobile. Oh, I haven't actually said what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing the Tilly and the Buttons Indigo. This is the add-on. I would show you more, but, you know, I mean, unless you want to see me like hunched over, creaking and screaming, standing up, I'll leave that till after I stop filming. But yeah, I got the ruffle sleeves, and it's a maxi length, and there's a button up at the back. But yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. That's what they were wearing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week with more Sewing Bee goodness.